After an argument, my fiancée texted me, "I'm staying at my ex's place tonight. Deal with it." So, I dealt with it. The next morning, I watched her completely lose her mind. I'm 29, a union electrician. I make good money, have my own downtown apartment, and drive a decent truck. I've been with Brianna, 26, for almost 3 years. She's a content marketing manager, earns good money, and is attractive. For a long time, we were that couple everyone envied. The relationship was solid for the first 2 years. She had her own apartment across town, we split everything 50-50, she never acted like I owed her anything. Independent, funny, great in bed, we were always joking around, watching football together. She even helped me move furniture without complaining about breaking a nail. I thought I had found my partner for life. So naturally, I proposed. I took her to that fancy steakhouse she loved, I knelt down, did everything right. I spent 3 months' salary on the ring because she had been dropping hints about wanting something that would make her friends envious. She cried, said yes, and posted 17 Instagram stories about it. I was on cloud 9. That's when everything fell apart. It was as if the ring had flipped a switch in her brain. Suddenly, she started talking about our money instead of splitting bills. She began expecting me to pay for everything because that's what fiancés do. She stopped cooking, stopped cleaning, and started treating my apartment like a hotel where she just dropped by without paying rent. She even had the audacity to suggest that I should get a bigger place for when we had kids. She started saying I should invest in our future by trading my truck for something more family-friendly. Translation, she wanted me to take on a $60,000 loan just so she could show off nicely in the school drop-off line. But the real poison was her best friend, Bet. Single, bitter, working a dead-end administrative job, and spending her time destroying every relationship around her. Since the engagement, Bet, Brianna's maid of honor, took it as a personal mission to turn Brianna into a spoiled princess. Every time Bet showed up, I'd hear whispers in the kitchen while I had coffee. Afterward, Brianna would emerge with some new demand. Bet says you should pay for the entire wedding because you're the man. Bet thinks I deserve a bigger ring. Bet says I shouldn't have to work after we get married. Every conversation cost more money and more respect. The worst part is that Bet would sit on my couch, drink my soda, eat my food, and still lecture me about how real men treat their women. Coming from someone who had been single for 3 years and whose last boyfriend left her for his own cousin, I confronted the situation. I told Brianna that Bet was toxic and was trying to sabotage our relationship because she couldn't stand to see her friend happy. "You're being paranoid," Brianna said. "She just wants the best for me." "The best for you is to get away from that bitter harpy before she destroys us." Bet overheard and gave a sweet, fake smile. "I just think Brianna deserves someone who treats her like a queen. If that threatens you, maybe you should ask yourself why." I wanted to say exactly what I thought, but I kept quiet. I should have trusted my instinct and ended it there. I should have noticed the red flags when Brianna started agreeing with her instead of defending me. The breaking point came 6 weeks ago. Brianna announced she wanted to take a girls' trip to Miami with Bet and other friends. A week of partying, bottles, clubs every night, staying at a fancy resort 2 months before our wedding. "It's my bachelorette party, my last chance to be crazy before I settle down." "You're not settling down, you're marrying me. It's different." "You know what I mean. Don't be dramatic." "No, I really don't know what you mean. Explain it." She got defensive. She said I was being controlling, that she deserved to have fun before real life started. Real life? As if our engagement was just a waiting room before a prison sentence? I said absolutely not. Call me old-fashioned, but there is no way my fiancé is going to be clubbing in Miami while I'm paying wedding deposits and vendor contracts. That's when Bet chimed in from the couch. "See, Bree, I told you he'd try to control you. This is just the beginning." The fight that followed was nuclear. Brianna screaming about trust and freedom, me pointing out that wanting to party like a single person while wearing my ring wasn't about trust, it was about respect. Bet was there, fueling the chaos with calculated comments to make everything worse.
"Fine," Brianna finally yelled. "If you don't trust me, maybe we shouldn't get married." "Maybe we shouldn't." She fell silent, as if she expected me to beg and apologize. When I didn't, she grabbed her purse and slammed the door. She didn't come back that night or the next. I figured she was at Bet's house, waiting for me to crawl there with an apology and permission for the Miami trip. Instead, I went to work, hit the gym, ordered food, and slept like a baby. If she wanted to test me, she chose the wrong guy. 3 years as an electrician teach you patience and problem solving. On Wednesday night, I found out exactly where she was staying. Wednesday, I was on the couch watching the Celtics game and enjoying the peace. No Bet whispering poison in the kitchen, no passive-aggressive comments about how I never do anything romantic, just me, a soda, and basketball. Then my phone vibrates. Message from Brianna. "I'm staying at Din's place tonight. Deal with it." Din. Her ex from college, the one she swears is just a friend, but always gets weird when his name comes up. The one I met once, a typical finance guy who still thinks he's in a fraternity. I stared at that message for a whole minute. I read it 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. My first instinct was to blow up her phone with texts, demand an explanation, drive there and drag her home. That's what the old me would have done, and it's exactly what she expected me to do. Instead, I put down my phone, opened another can, took a long sip, and really thought about what had just happened. This woman, who was wearing the $8,000 ring I bought, just announced she's sleeping at her ex-boyfriend's house and told me to deal with it after letting her toxic friends spend months undermining our relationship. The disrespect was absurd, but also clarifying, as if someone had turned on the light and shown me exactly who she was. I finished my drink, turned off the game, and started working. You see, there's something important about my apartment. It's mine. My name on the lease, my security deposit, my furniture, all mine. I pay $2,400 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown because I can, and because I like to live alone. Brianna moved in 8 months ago and contributed to groceries and basic bills. That's it. She was basically a guest who had overstayed her welcome. It was time to check her out. I started packing her things without anger, without rush. Her clothes, makeup, that collection of plants she was always tending to, the books, everything. I used good boxes from recent Amazon deliveries. I even wrapped the fragile things with bubble wrap because I'm not a monster. The whole time, my phone was silent. No follow-up messages, no "it was a joke," no apologies, nothing. She was really serious about it. 3.5 hours later, everything she owned was packed and loaded into my truck. The funny part is, I knew exactly where Din lived. I had dropped her off there once for a supposed group project a few months ago. She told me not to come up because Din's roommate doesn't like strangers. Should have been a clue. I made 4 trips between midnight and 2 a.m. I stacked everything neatly at the entrance to Din's apartment like a moving professional. I even wrapped the fragile things with bubble wrap because I'm not a monster. I drove back home feeling lighter than I had in months. I went to Home Depot the next morning and bought smart locks. I installed them myself while drinking coffee and listening to podcasts. I did everything calmly, properly. Then I went to work as if it were any other Thursday, because it was. Lunchtime, my friend Riley texted me. He lives in the same complex as Din, works from home as a freelance graphic designer, has 0 filter, and the sharpest tongue in the city. "Dude, I just saw a girl loading boxes into an Uber here at Din's building. She looked destroyed. Is everything okay?" I sent him screenshots of our conversation. "Holy crap, man. That's an absurd level of disrespect." "Yep, so I dealt with it." "Savage. Want me to keep an eye out around here? This might get interesting." "Do whatever you want. Not my problem anymore." The entire work crew already knew the story by Friday. These guys don't mess around when it comes to relationships. "You kicked her out because of a text message?" asked Danny, our lead installer. "She told me to deal with the fact that she was going to sleep at her ex-boyfriend's house, so I gave her this." Big Sean said, shaking his head, "Approved. Total alpha move. Most guys would have gone begging at her door crying." "My wife tried that game once," added Danny. I shut it down instantly. If you let it slide, they ride you forever. But I was curious to see how this would play out, and Riley never disappoints with the intel. Thursday night, I slept like a log. The first decent night of sleep in weeks, without someone sighing dramatically every 5 minutes about wedding stress or how her friends had more romantic engagements. Friday morning, 7:45 sharp. It sounded like someone was trying to break down my door. I looked through the peephole. It was Brianna, looking like she had slept in a dumpster. Hair everywhere, yesterday's makeup smeared on her face, trembling with rage. "Jackson, open this door! My key isn't working!" I made coffee first. French press, good beans, the whole ritual. I let her knock and yell for about 5 minutes while I read work emails. When I finally opened the door with the chain on,
Din trying to explain the both of them, Jessica threatening to leave, and your ex crying that she was homeless, better than a reality show. Wait, there's more. There is. Brianna tried to convince Jessica that she was Din's emotional support and needed to stay there for her mental health. Jessica said that if she didn't disappear in 5 minutes, she'd call the police. And where is she now? Bet picked her up in that beat-up car, but Jessica made Din promise that if his ex shows up there again, he'll call the police. That woman is not messing around. Good woman, actually. But I knew that was just the beginning. Friday afternoon, I got a call from building security. "Mr. Jackson, there's a person here claiming to be your fiancée and asking for access." "She is no longer my fiancée. Do not let her up." She is quite upset about that. She's making a scene in the lobby, talking about rights and how you're stealing from her. Not my problem. Thanks, Tony. But Saturday brought a whole new level of crazy that I wasn't prepared for. Saturday morning, I was having coffee and scrolling on my phone when Tony from security calls me. "Jackson, you need to come down to the lobby now. Your ex is here with an older gentleman and a middle-aged woman, saying they have legal rights to enter your apartment." Already on my way. I got dressed and went down. There was Brianna with her father Richard and mother Grace, looking like they had prepared for war. Richard was holding a brown folder and had that "I'll handle this like an adult" expression. Grace with her arms crossed, classic "I want to speak to the manager" posture. Brianna was dressed as if she were going to court. Tony wouldn't let them go up without my authorization. The guy's an ex-Marine. He doesn't take any nonsense. Richard started immediately. "Jackson, what is this nonsense about leaving my daughter homeless?" "Good morning, Richard." "Grace," I nodded to her, "I didn't leave anyone homeless. I ended our engagement after she chose to spend the night at her ex's place and told me to deal with it, period." Grace interjected before Richard could reply. "You can't just kick someone out. She has rights." "She was living here as my guest, Grace. Never signed the lease, never paid rent, never established legal residency." "That's ridiculous. She was practically your wife." I took out my phone and showed the screenshot. "I'm staying at Din's place today. Deal with it." That's not how wives talk to their husbands. Richard's eye twitched. Grace's mouth dropped. "She explained it was innocent," Richard said. "You're overreacting." "That's not an explanation, Richard. It's a declaration of war." Grace tried the emotional angle. "She made a mistake. One single text. You're destroying her life over nothing." "She destroyed her own life with that text. I just responded." Richard opened the folder. "We're prepared to file a lawsuit for illegal eviction and theft." "Please do. I'd love to show the judge the message where your daughter announces she's sleeping somewhere else, as well as the security footage showing me peacefully moving her things. I can also present documentation proving she was never on the lease, never received mail here, and never established residency." The folder dropped slightly. Richard realized they had lost. That's when Brianna tried to manipulate. The tears started. Her voice became shaky, sobbing. "Honey, please, this is crazy. I made a mistake. Just one text. We can fix this." "We just fixed it. You are free to stay wherever you want, and I am free from someone who thinks deal with it is an acceptable way to speak to her fiancé." "I didn't mean it that way." "Of course." Grace turned red. "You're being cruel. Look at her. She's devastated." I looked. She looked like a crying, mascara-smeared raccoon, completely out of control. "Too late. People make mistakes. Some mistakes have consequences, Grace, and this right here is what a consequence looks like." Grace turned to Tony, the security guard. "Did you hear him? He's being abusive. You need to let us up, Tony." Impassive. "Ma'am, I heard a man exercise his legal right to remove someone from his own apartment. If you continue shouting, I will call the police."
Richard realized they weren't going to get anywhere. "Come on, Brianna, we'll figure it out." As they were leaving, I overheard Grace whisper, "I can't believe you're not making him give you money." And Brianna replied, "He has to take care of me. That's what men do." The look of pure shock on Richard's face when he heard the level of entitlement from his own daughter was worth everything I had been through. But Sunday brought the nuclear bomb, and that's when I stopped finding all of this funny. Sunday morning, I wake up to 17 missed calls from unknown numbers. It wasn't Brianna. I blocked her after the lobby show. It was mutual friends all asking the same thing. What the hell is going on? I opened social media. It was a masterpiece. Brianna had posted a 3-paragraph, tearful screed on Facebook, saying she had been suddenly abandoned by someone she completely trusted, claiming I had become controlling and abusive after the engagement, that she was homeless and scared because of my violent tendencies. She even invented that I monitored her phone and isolated her from her friends. The poor thing, right? Bet was leading the comments like a crazy crisis manager. I always knew he had anger issues. Brianna is so brave for speaking out. Jackson fooled everyone, but I never trusted him. The echo chamber of insanity was in full swing, with her flying monkeys calling me everything under the sun. But then, Bet made the first big mistake. She made her own post about supporting survivors and how she had always seen the red flags in me. She even posted photos of our double dates with captions like, "I should have protected her from this monster." I responded with a single thing, the screenshot of Brianna's message, "I'm staying at Din's place today. Deal with it." And my simple reply, "Okay." Nothing more. I let the truth speak for itself. The comments started turning, my friends asking for context, hers demanding I explain what I did. And then Jessica, Din's actual girlfriend, dropped the atomic bomb. "That's why you showed up at my apartment with boxes claiming to be Din's girlfriend when I was right there after spending the night uninvited." The post was deleted in 10 minutes, but screenshots are eternal. Over 50 people saved it. Bet completely lost it on her own page, accusing me of gaslighting the narrative and creating a circus. The girl had lost all mental faculties. Quick pause, folks. If you're hooked on this story, hit that YouTube hype button. It shows the video deserves to blow up and helps bring even more insane stories. Thanks for the support. Now, back to the chaos. Monday brought the welfare check. 2 police officers at my door with bored expressions. "Sir, we received a call saying someone at this address was threatening to harm themselves." "Let me guess, my ex-fiancée called." "We can't say who called, but yes." I invited the officers in, served coffee, showed the screenshots, and explained everything. "So she announces she's sleeping at the ex's house, you pack her things and take them there, and now she says you're having a meltdown." "You summarized it well. And are you feeling okay? No thoughts of harming yourself or others, officer?" "I haven't felt this good in months. I'm just annoyed that she's making you guys waste public time and money with a false report." They logged it as a malicious call and warned me that she might escalate the situation. One of them even commented, "We see this all the time. The person messes up, faces consequences, and tries to use the system as a weapon. Keep all documentation." Smart advice. Wednesday morning came with proof that this had crossed a line from drama to crime. An alert from my credit monitoring service. Attempt to open account using your social security number. Someone tried to open a store credit card in my name. It failed because the phone number didn't match, but they had my social security number, my date of birth, and my old college address. One person, one single person, would have access to that. I immediately called the agency. They confirmed everything. Attempted card with a $3,000 limit. All my personal details, wrong phone number. I froze my credit at all 3 bureaus. Then I called the police. The officer who answered was the same one from the welfare check. "Your ex-fiancée again?" "Yes, she's escalating." "Identity theft is a serious felony. Now it's serious. No more games." I filed an informal report. The officer recommended hiring a lawyer and considering a restraining order. He was right. Thursday brought new attempts, notifications of password resets for my email, bank password, even my PlayStation account, all going to an email I didn't recognize. Friday, Riley called with an update that made me see red. "Dude, your ex-chick convinced Din to let her stay until she gets back on her feet. That was 3 weeks ago. She's taken over the apartment." "What do you mean?" "She rearranged the furniture, threw Jessica's stuff out, keeps telling Din that you'll come to your senses and beg her to come back. She's completely delusional." Her audacity was unbelievable. "Jessica is ready to move out. Din is scared of both of them. Oh, and she tried to order $300 worth of groceries to their apartment using your card. She did what? The delivery guy showed up with bags of expensive stuff, all organic, gluten-free, those are foods luxuries. Din had no idea. When they called the number on the order, it was your card number. Din refused the delivery and reported everything to the store. Another criminal accused? Perfect. But wait, it gets better. She's telling everyone in the building that Din is her new boyfriend, and they're working things out. She posted Instagram stories from inside his apartment talking about new beginnings and finding real love. Jessica saw it and went ballistic. That's when I decided it was time to use the nuclear option. But first, there was an issue to settle. Time to get the $8,000 ring back. Monday morning, I hired Nora, a lawyer specializing in harassment and cyberstalking. I found her through a referral from a coworker whose ex had tried similar things. It cost $3,500 up front, but after the attempted credit card fraud, I was officially out of patience. The first thing she did was send cease and desist letters to Brianna, Richard, Grace, Bet, and every flying monkey who was harassing me. The letters were beautiful, detailing everything from the false welfare report to the attempted identity theft. They made it clear that any future contact would result in immediate action. Most of Brianna's friends disappeared instantly. Richard even responded with his own lawyer, formally apologizing, saying he was unaware of his daughter's escalating behavior and that he would ensure none of us would have any further contact. Bet's response was precious. "This is harassment. Brianna is the victim. Jackson is trying to silence us." Nora responded with a 2-page letter explaining how criminal law works. "Your client's friend has committed multiple felonies. Any additional communication..."
Brianna stormed out. Bet changed the locks. And now where is she? Back with mom and dad. But there was more. Grace is calling Bet and screaming that she abandoned Brianna and ruined her daughter's life. Bet responded on Facebook saying, "Control your crazy daughter before she goes to jail." The house of cards was falling. Thursday brought the news that made my day. The district attorney's office was moving forward with the prosecution. Nora said there would be multiple charges: identity theft, attempted fraud, false reports, cyberstalking. They want to arrest Brianna? When? Tomorrow morning. And Jackson, she still hasn't returned the ring. That's another charge: theft of property valued over $5,000. Christmas had come early, but Friday brought something that showed it wasn't over yet. Friday morning, drinking coffee, Nora calls. She was arrested, multiple charges, and also for the theft of the ring. Great, what's the problem? She's saying the ring disappeared, claims she doesn't remember where she put it. Either she's lying or she sold it. Great. My investigator is checking pawn shops and jewelry stores. If she sold it, that's another crime. Saturday. Riley calls me, practically hyperventilating with laughter. "Dude, you will not believe this. 2 police cruisers just pulled up to Bet's building. Your ex was arrested there, begging Bet to take her back. Are you kidding me? No, she's screaming that this is all your fault. Bet is at the door telling the cops she doesn't even know this woman. Half the building is in the hallway watching." The mental image was perfect. They just put her in the car. She's still screaming. This is better than Netflix. Oh, and Grace showed up right as they were taking her away, started screaming at Bet, saying it was all her fault for abandoning Brianna. Bet told her to get lost and slammed the door in her face. 2 hours later, she was officially booked and charged. The bail hearing would be Monday, but with multiple charges and a clear pattern of increasingly dangerous behavior, she would likely be detained until trial. And with her history, she could be looking at 3 to 5 years if convicted on all counts. Identity theft alone had a mandatory minimum sentence in the state. The next day, the news had already spread throughout our circle of friends. My friend Chris called me, laughing. "Dude, half the guys from my bachelor party found out Brianna was arrested. Tommy said his girlfriend saw the mugshot on Facebook." Did Bet post her mugshot? Yes, but it backfired. People are commenting on how crazy she looks and asking what she actually did. Bet is trying to control the narrative, but people are looking up the charges. It's all public record now. Identity theft, fraud, stalking, everything. Monday, the bail hearing was a disaster. Brianna showed up looking like she had been living on the street. Dirty hair, wrinkled clothes, deep dark circles. The public defender tried to argue for release without bail, claiming she was an emotionally distraught young woman, victim of an abusive relationship. Young woman?
The prosecutor laid out history of escalating criminal behavior, false reports, identity theft, attempted fraud, harassment even after cease and desist orders, attempted job sabotage, and the theft of an $8,000 engagement ring. The judge looked at the documents for about 30 seconds. Bail set at $50,000. The defendant is prohibited from having any contact with the victim and must surrender her passport. Richard had to mortgage his own house to get her out of jail. I almost felt sorry for him. Grace was in court making venomous comments, loud enough for everyone to hear, about how I was destroying an innocent girl's life. The bailiff had to tell her to be quiet twice. The restraining order hearing was even better. Brianna's lawyer tried the scorned woman approach, saying she was emotionally devastated and not thinking clearly. The judge didn't even blink. 5-year restraining order granted. Any contact, immediate arrest. But then came the plot twist. In the content marketing world, news travels fast. Being arrested for cybercrimes when your job depends on digital trust, career destroyed. She was fired even before paying bail. With pending criminal charges, she became persona non grata in the industry. No one hires someone facing cyber stalking charges. 3 months later, she had moved back in with her parents in Ohio. 26 years old, living in her childhood bedroom, unemployed, facing criminal charges, and still without the ring. Nora's investigator found the ring at a pawn shop downtown. Brianna had sold it for $2,000 2 days after I kicked her out. We recovered the ring, and that added another charge, sale of stolen property. Richard sent one final message via his lawyer, a check for $62,000 to cover all fraud and my legal expenses. It included a note. I am ashamed of my daughter's behavior and want to make things right. I accepted. Richard was a good guy trapped between a problematic daughter and a wife who fed every one of her tantrums. The trial was scheduled for 6 months later, but her lawyer requested a plea deal. She accepted 2 years of probation, full restitution, mandatory anger management therapy, and the restraining order remaining in effect. Better than risking 5 years in prison. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 3 months after starting probation, I started dating Leah, a veterinarian who owns her own clinic, smart, pays her own bills, and never told me to deal with it. That's when Brianna's harassment came back full force. 6 months later, I was doing great. Same apartment, extra shifts increasing my salary, and Leah and I were strong. The Brianna nightmare seemed like ancient history until she found out about Leah through social media. Then everything started again. She created fake Instagram accounts to stalk her clinic page, leaving 1-star reviews saying Leah was unprofessional and stole someone's fiancé. Leah handled it like a champ, screenshotted everything, reported the accounts, and said, "I'm not letting a pathetic ex ruin my day." But Brianna wasn't finished. She started showing up at the clinic saying she needed to talk about something important. The receptionist recognized her from photos I'd shown her and called security every time. And then it happened. The breaking point was at our friend Chris's wedding. I almost didn't go, afraid she would show up, but Leah said, "Shouldn't she be prohibited from contacting you? We're not letting a crazy ex ruin our day." Riley met us there. He had been excited about this wedding for weeks, partly because he was Chris's friend, partly because he was hoping for exactly what ended up happening. The ceremony was peaceful. The cocktail hour, great. The food was excellent, the drinks even better. People I hadn't seen in years. I was finally relaxing when Riley grabbed my arm with a wicked grin. "Dude, don't look now, but guess who just walked in looking like a complete disaster?" I looked anyway. There she was, stumbling through the entrance in a wrinkled dress that looked like she had slept in it, clearly drunk. "Oh, this is going to be legendary," Riley said, already taking out his phone. "I'm recording everything. This is going straight to the group chat." Brianna saw me across the room and came in a straight line, knocking over a table arrangement and stepping on someone's foot on the way. "Jackson," she slurred, loud enough for the entire reception to hear. "There you are. I knew you'd be here." The conversations died. Heads turned, phones came out, the DJ even lowered the music. "Leave. There is a restraining order and you are violating your probation." "Screw your restraining order. I came here to talk to you, to make you understand." Leah stepped closer, ready for whatever came next. Security was already moving toward us, but Riley raised his hand. He wanted to watch the show. "Understand what?" I kept my voice calm. "That you made a mistake, that we belong together. I forgive you for everything. The arrest, the lawyers, everything. We can start over." The delusion was unbelievable. She genuinely thought this was romantic. "Brianna, we are over. We've been over for more than a year." "No, you're just being stubborn. And this," she glared at Leia with pure hatred, "this is your pathetic rebound. You downgrade. She's not even that pretty." "Oh, this is perfect." Ravi stepped forward with the biggest smile I've ever seen. "Brianna, this is Leia. She's a veterinarian, owns her own clinic, drives her own car, and never committed identity theft. Crazy standards, right?" The audience was loving it. Someone started an Instagram Live. Brianna's face turned red. "Go to hell! You don't know anything! This witch stole my man!" "Your man?" Riley laughed. "Lady, you told him to deal with it while you slept at your ex's place. That's not how you keep a man. That's how you screw yourself over." Right on cue, 2 security guards showed up. "Ma'am, you need to leave immediately." "No, I'm not finished. Jackson, please, you have to listen to me. I love you." She tried to grab my arm. I took a step back. Security intervened. "This is harassment. This is illegal. I'm going to sue everyone here." "With which lawyer?" Riley yelled as they dragged her away. "Didn't your dad already spend his retirement getting you out of jail?" The crowd cheered. Even the bride and groom were watching from the main table, trying not to laugh. As they dragged her toward the door, she made one last desperate attempt. "Jackson, remember what we had? Remember how good it was before you destroyed everything?" Riley cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted, "Yeah, the best part was when he destroyed everything." The entire reception erupted. People filming, laughing, applauding. Someone started shouting, "Deal with it! Deal with it!" Her final scream as they pushed her out the door was, "I hate all of you. Leia is ugly and Jackson is a loser." Riley's sharp comment, "If that were true, you wouldn't be here begging him to come back, sweetie." All of this went viral on social media within minutes. The hashtag #DealWithIt started trending with the caption, "When keeping up appearances goes wrong." By Monday morning, it had over 200,000 views. Chris, the groom, found me afterwards. "Dude, I'm sorry about the mess. I had no idea she would show up." "No problem. Thanks for calling security." "Are you kidding? That was the best entertainment I could ask for. My wedding will be remembered forever." Tuesday morning, I got a call from Nora. "Your ex violated the restraining order at a public event with about 50 witnesses and videos. The prosecutor wants to revoke probation and send her to jail. She's also facing new charges for the harassment against your girlfriend. Do you want to proceed with the charges?" "Absolutely."
Reddit comment of the day. It's impressive how Brianna wanted everyone else to deal with it. In the end, the only person who couldn't deal with it was her. It's the famous case of, you sow chaos, you reap an Instagram viral moment and a stay in county jail.